Hello YouTube, this is Tammy Pie and I'm back with another video. I'm here in the gi room above the Hawaii Jiu-Jitsu Academy in the Kingdom of Hawaii, and I am going to do a tag. Hopefully I have enough stuff to put in this tag, but it's a good one. It's an interesting one because I think it applies to many of us in the tarot tube world. This is, of course, the hashtag Hungry Eyes for Tarot tag by Rochelle at Amethyst Ascension. Amethyst Ascension Tarot and Astrology. She gave us 10 decks that she had been looking at, and she did it all very neatly and cool the way she does. But she opened this tag up about 2 weeks ago, and since then I have done a few other videos that I had kind of on the burner. But the tag has stayed on my mind because I have a wish list all the time. I'm always looking at decks, thinking of decks. I always have decks that I'm working with, decks that I'm looking at, remembering about. But I think this tag kind of goes to well, what would I get if I could get anything, right? And we all have like a couple of unicorn decks, one or more unicorn deck that, you know, it's long out of print, can't get it, can't find it. Or decks that we just can't afford, or like in my case, there's a couple of websites that I go to where every time I go to them, I think, well, I want all of these. And I'll touch on that a little bit too. One thing that I did do, because I realized as I was thinking about this tag, I went back to, at the very end of last year, just before New Year's, I did a video I called With Bated Breath. And it was talking about the what I was looking forward to over this year. And a lot of what I was looking forward to, along with practices and things that I hope to get better at, were some decks that I knew were going to come out. Among those, the Felt Tarot by Jamie Sawyer, which people are just starting to get now. Her Kickstarter was very successful, and in fact, I was able to get a preview edition. I did back the Kickstarter anyway because I wanted to support, and also I wanted to get the matching bag from Moonlit Fae, and I like to do Kickstarter for certain artists that I want to. I mean, I wish I could do Kickstarter more often. That's another thing that I have hungry eyes for. Another one was the Cracked Amethyst Kickstarter, which also did very well and is also just starting to reach the people's hands. I backed that one. I got the little decks as well. So that'll be coming to me in short order. I talked about the Medieval Cats Theater, or Baroque Cats Theater Tarot, which is Baba Studio's latest project, and they are still doing pre-sales for the regular size until the end of August, I believe. So I pre-ordered the limited edition when that first went on sale. The what else? What else did I talk about? there were a few things that I talked about that I was interested in that I have actually gone ahead and purchased. And I can't think of it right now. I forgot my notes. I left my notes next door. But the intern is asleep, and while the intern sleeps, we get to do what we do. There was a couple of things. Oh, Mildred Payne's Blood edition of the Pocket Oracle, which I did get. What else? There's a few things that I was hoping to get, and I have gotten. And that's the fun thing about doing a kind of an end of year or beginning of year, like these are the things that I want to do. It gives you kind of a plan to go by. And it's also the great thing about having a wish list, whether you have it written down. I usually have mine written down like on lined paper in where I keep my tarot inventory. And there are lots of things that I wish I could afford, that I wish I could buy, some of which have already been shown. Recently, I believe it was Sandra. I think it was Sandra got a copy of the Royal Moroccan Fez, which was one of my unicorn decks as well. And that is coming to me in the mail by our fairy god person, our fairy god wish unicorn decks person. She got me a copy of that, and so that's coming to me. I have always wanted the Yokai Yochi deck, which I have a couple decks that I keep kind of on my back shelf in case somebody has those to trade. So, because every once in a while you run into a really great trade opportunity, right? So if I have an extra deck, I will keep it to trade for something high end like that. So the Yokai Yochi, what else? I think it's called the Inner Light Tarot by Brandy Eve Allen. She has now done a new deck called the Fire Flower Tarot, which I would also love to have, but it's $100, and that's an imprint deck. I'm not saying it's not worth it. I'm sure it is, but I just I mean, every once in a while something extraordinary happens. Like I was looking at Libra Moon decks. Libra Moon Tarot is one of those publishing companies that I look at their website and I just go down the list and want everything that they sell. A couple of the people who've done this tag have talked about how they'd love to have the Witch's Candle Oracle. I'd love to have the Witch's Candle Oracle. But a subscriber and fellow YouTuber reached out to me and said, if you really want Paul's Moon, I have it. I'll sell it to you for what I got it for. And I said, yeah, sure, let's do that. And as it turned out, she also had Medieval Beasts that she was finished playing with, and also forwarded that on to me at the same price that she paid, which was pretty good. And I got also another deck from her. There are decks that Jessica Bott did that I wish I could still get. The Body Language deck that Jessica Bott did was one of her, I want to say it was one of her more popular decks, but she says that it wasn't that popular, even though she did 2 editions of it. I would love to have a copy of the Body Language Tarot. Let's see, Yokai Yoshi, Libra Moon, Jessica Bott. What else is there? Sometimes there's decks that I'd really like to have. There's one called the Magical Creatures Tarot that was done by the same guy that did the other, the one with the creatures with the people bodies and animal heads, but it's like a drawn or a lino cut deck. I'd like to have that one. And it's not that expensive. It's still in print. What else? What else? Hang on just a second. Okay, I'm remembering now. The Victorian fairy. I didn't back it. I haven't bought it because it's in that big, huge box with all those, with all the extra things. Honestly, I just would like to have a copy of the tarot deck. I don't think you even really need the book. The Six Sad Girls, that's another, it's an Etsy shop that I go to all the time. And I always think, okay, all I want is the Jupiter power, but I also want moon power. I also want star power. I also want Mars power. Just everything they do is so exciting, thrilling, that they have an edition of moon power that has the ventricular cards. Dying for it. Would love to have that. Do I need it? No. And when you start going into that and oh, let me just check this off and check this off, and I'll decide which one I want and get rid of the rest, and then I end up with an Etsy cart with 18 things in it. And no. And the same thing happens to me at Make Playing Cards. Rose Bay, her shop. I really want these blue bones, but she also has a couple other oracles and another tarot, and she's going to do that. She's got a brand new tarot that she's doing. I want those. Chanel Days has a couple of decks that I would love to have. Let's see. What else? There's a couple others that are like totally in print. I just haven't gotten them because that situation happened where a friend reached out to me and said, I have these decks. This is how much. And I said, yeah, that's great. I'll take them. So that's my budget, right? My budget is blown. I really don't have it to keep purchasing. So I have to stop. I have to be reasonable. I have to, as they say, be the adult. I don't want to be the adult. I know what else. That one, I was sitting on a premiere with Simon the other day, and he was talking about the ancient Orum tarot. I think it was when he was doing his most beautiful decks. And I knew ancient Orum was going to show up somewhere on it. And I was like, man, I really wanted that one. I had assumed it had gone out of print, but it hasn't gone out of print. And it's not even that expensive. I keep blowing my budget. So I haven't gotten it yet. So hopefully that won't go out of print before I get a chance to get that one. I think that's enough. I think I have beaten this horse beyond its measure, and I think it's very interesting. It's interesting to keep track of what you are hoping to get, so that when those chances come up, every once in a while someone will say, send you a check for whatever, or it's your birthday, or someone calls you out of the blue and says, can I get you something for this and such? You have an opportunity to get a deck that you couldn't get because it was out of your budget or because you just didn't have the opportunity before. And I'm telling you now, take that opportunity, keep that list close at hand, because you never know when someone will reach out and say, well, what do you want? Let me get it for you. Or, I have this deck. I'll give it to you at a good price, because man, when things go out of print, $300-400. Nobody's got that budget, not anymore. Maybe once upon a time. But that's it for this one. And thank you, Rochelle, and thank you for coming.